Picture this. A warship slicing through the Black Pacific carrying the most dangerous secret in the history of mankind. The crew doesn't know exactly what's in the crates, but they know it matters. They know the war depends on it. And in less than 2 weeks, one of those crates will reshape the world forever. It is July 1945. The Second World War is grinding toward its bloody end. In a secret mission codenamed Operation Centerboard, the heavy cruiser USS Indianapolis departs San Francisco, destination Tinian Island in the Western Pacific. Locked in her hull, the components of Little Boy, the world's first atomic bomb to be used in combat. The Indianapolis makes the crossing in just 10 days, a record run. She delivers her cargo. She saves no receipt. She gets no escort. And nobody, almost nobody, knows she's out there. On the night of July 30th, 1945, at approximately 12 minutes past midnight, Imperial Japanese submarine I-58 fires 2 Type 95 torpedoes into the starboard side of the Indianapolis. The first explosion tears open the bow. The second detonates near the fuel tanks. The ship, 933 feet of American naval power, sinks in just 12 minutes. Of the 195 men aboard, roughly 900 make it into the water alive. No life rafts, almost no life jackets, no land in sight, and the Navy doesn't even know she's gone. What follows is not just a survival story. It is a story of institutional failure, human endurance, and the brutal mathematics of who lives and who doesn't when the ocean decides it wants you dead. The men who splashed into the Philippine Sea that night faced water so dark it felt solid. Many were burned. Many were bleeding. The heavy fuel oil coating the surface choked their lungs and stung their eyes. Some men sank immediately, too injured to stay afloat. Others clung to debris, to each other, to whatever pieces of USS Indianapolis had scattered across the surface of the water. And then, as the sun rose on July 31st, the sharks came. Oceanic white tips, among the most aggressive species in open water, drawn first by the blood and oil and sound of the sinking, then by the desperate movement of nearly 900 men treading water with nowhere to go. Survivors would later describe a horror that defies language. Men pulled under in the night without a scream, just gone. Men attacked in groups, the water turning red while the others watched and could do nothing. The sharks did not come once and leave. They came back, again and again, for 4 days and 5 nights. Meanwhile, the Navy had no idea the Indianapolis was missing. This is the part of the story that still stings. The Indianapolis had been expected at Leyte Gulf in the Philippines on July 31st. She didn't arrive. No alarm was raised. A clerical error. A policy that didn't require confirmation of arrival. A string of missed signals and bureaucratic blind spots. And so hundreds of men floated alone in the Pacific for nearly 4 days before anyone realized something had gone wrong. It was not a search team that found them. It was chance. On August 2nd, Navy pilot Lieutenant Wilbur Gwynn was on a routine anti-submarine patrol when he spotted the oil slick and the men below. He immediately called for rescue. By that time, of the 900 men who had entered the water, only 316 were still alive. 316 men, out of nearly 1,000. The rescue effort was massive but brutal in its own way. Men had been in salt water for so long that their skin had begun to deteriorate. Some had drunk seawater in desperation, sending their minds spiraling into hallucinations and madness. Survivors reported seeing phantom islands, imaginary ships, enemies that weren't there. Men fought each other in those final hours, no longer sure what was real. Captain Charles McVeigh III, the commanding officer of the Indianapolis, survived. He was later court-martialed for hazarding his ship by failing to sail a zigzag course, a standard evasive tactic. It was a controversial verdict. Even Commander Mochitsura Hashimoto, the Japanese submarine captain who sank the ship, testified that zigzagging would have made no difference. He would have fired anyway. He would have hit anyway. McVeigh carried the weight of those lost men for the rest of his life. He received hate mail for decades, angry letters from strangers who blamed him for the deaths of their sons. It took 55 years. The atomic bomb that the Indianapolis delivered, the one those men died to protect, was dropped on Hiroshima on August 6, 1945. 6 days after the survivors were pulled from the water, the bomb killed an estimated 80,000 people instantly. Japan surrendered 9 days later. World War II was over. History is full of moments where the cost of victory is paid by men whose names nobody remembers. The crew of the USS Indianapolis paid that cost in oil-slicked water, in sleepless terror, in shark attacks and thirst, and the slow unraveling of the human mind. They delivered a weapon that ended a world war.